WEFUNK. We funk.
And I guess in honor of Jerry, like I said, we will talk a little bit about the Grateful Dead and having yet another huge summer of success and mainstream relevancy. As I guess even without tours in a summer, by the way, where the Grateful Dead, where Dead & Co. rather was kicking their stadium tour up a notch here in New York, going from Citi Field to MetLife Stadium. All right, and yet another huge, monstrous year of touring on the books for Dead & Co. Of course, called off here in Coronaville. All right, hashtag save our stages. But even without the touring success, the band has still seen, even this summer as well in quarantine, a couple of archival releases that have been real successful. And like I mentioned, some of the Jerry stuff that has come out this summer. One of the hottest sneaker releases of the year were the SB Low Top Dunks Grateful Dead edition. Right, which just proves the continued impact on music and culture over 50 years after the boys got together at a pizza shop or whatever, or at least the acid tests, before they started getting all dosed up at Ken Kesey's house. They've been absolute icons of music and a true force on pop culture, like I said, and that really on example with the release of the SB Dunks. And right off the top of your head, if you're out there and you're thinking like, that's a weird, Nike sneaker collaboration, well, how does that make any sense outside of the huge popularity of the Grateful Dead? And if you're sitting there going, yeah, but Jerry died like 25 years ago, and they're a band from the 60s, they can't possibly still be. No, they are. As like I mentioned, just their extreme depth of like the archival material really now coming in handy. The fact that they went out of their way to like make sure to record every show for parking lot resale, but now officially releasing their such concert by concert their entire catalog. But so the music continues, and their popularity, however, in a lot of ways, at an all-time high, at least, of course, in the post-Jerry world, where, of the last, like I mentioned, 25 years, but really since Jerry's passing, the Grateful Dead at this point, really as popular, more popular now than they have been in the last 20 years. And a couple different reasons for this, however, I really gotta give a lot of the credit to John Mayer, whom I just spoke about with Dead & Co. And of course, I've talked about this before on the show, and let me just first of all clarify, of course, for all my Deadheads out there, that of course the Grateful Dead never went away at all in relevancy for us Deadheads, okay? And whether it was Warren Haynes and the Dead, or Phil and the Q, or Bobby and Further, and all of the different, Dead projects that have been super popular in the Grateful Dead community and in the jam band community, okay, the crossover reach, especially to the youth and to the high school kids, is a lot stronger now with John Mayer fronting Dead & Co. than it was 20 years ago with Warren fronting, the Grateful Dead project, or with Bobby and, fake Jerry and the cast of Further, which I loved, of course, and I love John Kay. John Kay's amazing, and whether it's, John Kay with Further, or, Kimmock with Phil and Friends, or, DSO, the whole gang with DSO, of course, continuing the, legacy, and even in recent years with J-Rad, Joe Russo's Almost Dead, who, of course, as all the Jammin world peeps know, I'm of course, a huge fan of. But so there's of course been the other real popular projects within the community. However, with John Mayer, they just have more of a his finger on the pulse of the 20-year-old girls on Instagram. Okay, and because of this, and of course because the music truly is so amazing and timeless that a 20-year-old kid can listen to it now and get super into it, and like the music, the music stands on its own to help keep the fans and get the fans and garner the attention, and and of course and deserve all of the excitement that's around the band. However, John Mayer really bringing that to the youth, and the youth then bringing it to pop culture and bringing it to Nike, who does a skateboard sneaker collaboration, right? Because there wouldn't be a Nike skateboard collaboration if it was still Warren fronting the band, okay? And a lot of this really just spawned from the crazy popularity of the Fare Thee Well concerts, where Trey, of course, played with the living members at Soldier Field, and that kind of, because even before that I've talked a lot about this show, I've seen further at, Beacon Theater for 2,000 people. Okay, now they're playing City Field for 20,000, and that's just the jump that you got over the last couple years. The Grateful Dead in the 2010s, their current projects, even with Bobby and Billy and the living members, were not playing at full stadiums the size of their Dead & Co tours. Okay, that's just a sheer fact. So what changed? Of course, getting somebody that's like hugely popular with young girls, and then like I said, the music then winning them over, and now with the youth being into it, to just further explain it, but now the youth being into it, it then gets its way into where vintage concert t-shirts are now super huge, and tie-dye is now like the fashion craze of 2020, and there's all sorts of Kardashian sister social media posts where everybody's wearing tie-dye this season, and of course, so it's become the whole, everything around the band has kind of reemerged, as well as LSD is huge, as well. I guess another big part of this whole thing is the fact that there is bands like Fish, and I guess really Fish being the foremost, but as well as Widespread Panic and Mo still being out there. But at this point, of course, as we all know in the history of the Grateful Dead, but upon their 87 hit of Touch of Grey being the first top 10 single in the, at that point, 20-plus career of the Grateful Dead, they were always kind of throughout the 70s more of like a subgenre, a counterculture band, and then they really received their first ever mainstream popularity going on their first stadium tours in the late 80s, where, like I said, they were at Radio City Music Hall in the early 80s, at Giants Stadium and Madison Square Garden in the late 80s, okay, based on their popularity with their MTV video for Touch of Grey. And at that time, the youth and the high school kids and the same age bracket that John Mayer is bringing to the table now, okay, getting into the band, joining forces with the elder statesmen of the Deadhead community. Okay, a lot of that kind of thing is going on with Fish being super popular and going through a pretty good resurgence of popularity here 20 years after their, 25 years after their first run of success. All right. And now, in some ways, Fish is kind of like the Grateful Dead of '89, being that, like contemporary act, still out there touring force, still putting out new music. And then the scene grew in popularity, so other bands emerged in the wake of the Grateful Dead in the late 80s, Fish and Panic and Mo and all of those bands kind of formulating in the wake of that second era of popularity of the Grateful Dead. Now, today, with the second era popularity of Fish, as well with the Grateful Dead still being relevant, we've seen, a lot of the, just a lot more super popular, contemporary jam bands, be it, Twiddle or Goose or Wolfpack or, the different genres, Pigeons with a big crossover, jam band, or Green Sky Bluegrass. There's all sorts of the big popular, crossover jam scene related bands that are super popular and contemporary here in 2020, kind of the next generation where kind of, the Fish and the Panics, like I said, and Mo are still out there as the elder statesmen, whereas at this point the Grateful Dead and the Allman Brothers, the Brothers, of course, reunion at the Garden, the last concert in New York City before the quarantine shutdown with your boy Big LW in the building. But the Brothers and, the Allman Brothers and the Grateful Dead really being the OG grandfathers of the scene, and their relevance and greatness will never go away. And now kind of just still to this day, now 50 years later, and 25 years after Jerry's passing, still continue to really play such an important influence in the jam, just the actual physical musical side of the jam world, okay, but as well pop culture as well, which I guess would get us back, getting us back in to Kylie Jenner wearing tie-dye, okay, but I guess bringing us to the SB Low Top Dunks collaboration, and I guess very interesting as well, real quick, to be a little bit, if you want to be cynical about the whole thing, perhaps the most cynical person in the world, who as well I've seen at no less than 10 Phil and Friend shows, but of course Chris Robinson, who when John Mayer joined it, when they announced the whole John Mayer Dead & Co. project, Chris Robinson, I saw on an interview with Howard Stern, talk about how he was very sad as a real, passionate Deadhead, that the Grateful Dead has become, his quote, this giant nipple for everybody to suck money out of. And really, in a lot of years, just if you look at, from 2020 to 2015, from 2015 to 2010, the amount of, archival releases, and it's great for me and for the Deadhead, the fans out there, it's great that the music is getting out there and the, attention is at an all-time high for the band. However, if you're a cynical asshole like CR, you might see all of the dollar signs fattening up other people's pockets as a little bit of a downer, and I guess perhaps that on display in some regards with the collaboration with Nike, the very random collaboration with Nike, who of course have their SB Dunk series. And if you're not familiar, if you're not one of our sneakerheads, and I got to give a big shout out right off the bat to my main man Yoon, of course, we've talked about on various podcasts, but my main man Yoon, who is my sneakerhead, my go-to sneakerhead, okay, and the Big LW Jammin World, I guess the Big LW podcasts sneakerhead consultant, of course. All right, so I got to give a big shout out to Yoon for a lot of my info, and I've talked about on these shows past, but big shout out to Yoon for helping me along the way through the various online lotteries and keeping me up to date on all the info throughout the release of the SB Dunks, which were released right at the end of July, okay, in between our last couple episodes here on the Jammin World anyway. But I guess if you're not familiar with the SB Dunks in general, they are like a specific brand, a specific line of Nike shoes that I'd say are kind of most known for and most popular for putting putting out like special edition kind of limited stock sneaker releases that oftentimes cross over with the pop culture world for no apparent reason necessarily, as past SB Dunk releases have been a Cheech and Chong SB Dunk release. I guess even just this year there was as well another very popular one that we talked about on Geeked Up Podcast, but there was the Ben & Jerry's Chunky Dunky SB Dunk low top sneaker release, okay, but that's kind of like their main gimmick with the SB Dunks, are kind of crossover pop culture popularity collaborating with a Nike release, okay, so from that standpoint, the Grateful Dead, I guess, fully in. If Cheech and Chong and Ben & Jerry can get a shoe, the Grateful Ones are more than deserving as well, and they officially immortalized in Nike with the release. Like I said, the end of July 24th, I should, I guess, say the official release for the official SB Dunks, as I guess I will get into in a minute to further clarify. But they're pretty sick, I guess. Just to give you a rundown of the shoe, I guess give a Google search while you're listening here. But to, I guess, give you the, to use my words and paint the picture, they come in 3 colors. Of course, low-top skateboard style kind of shoes come in 3 color schemes. An orange with a green swoosh, a yellow with kind of like a light blue, maybe for a sneakerhead's a Carolina blue swoosh, and then a green with a more dark blue, kind of royal blue swoosh, okay. I guess the real main gimmick of the shoe, there's some fun Grateful Dead, features and tie-ins, I guess. However, the real main Grateful Dead theme in this collaboration really revolving around, of course, the famous dancing bears and the famous Jerry Bear and the Bear Owsley Bear, literally drawn by Bear Owsley, who I guess is for a different pod. I'm not telling that story of how the Grateful Dead's audio engineer invented LSD in the country. That's for a different episode. However, the iconic, Grateful Dead bear logo really kind of taking like the main role in the theme of the shoe. There is, I guess, like an actual dancing bear on the tongue, okay, on the front side of the tongue, okay. However, the color schemes as well have like a very bear influence, as they are a single color shoes for the most part, with the multicolored swoosh, okay, the alternate colored swoosh, okay. However, the like actual shoe pattern where you would see like the alternate color schemes on the shoe, the SB Low Talk Dump Grateful Dead's a single color, however, where the alternate color pattern would come in. Instead, you have like an alternate fabric where it is a shaggy, like a bear fur influence, teddy bear fur influence, like textural pattern that goes on the alternating blocks where the color scheme would be, okay, as well. So it's like, normal orange suede and then orange shaggy bear fabric, okay, making up the bulk of the shoe, which then, like I said, the alternate colored swoosh, which as well does have like a very jagged kind of like a lightning bolt from the Steal Your Face logo kind of edge to the swoosh, kind of giving it like a lightning Steal Your Face lightning bolt kind of feel there as well. And then the undershoe matches the color of the swoosh, of course, so it's a green undershoe to the orange, which is the sickest color, and I guess I'll get into the release prices in a minute here, but the orange is definitely the sickest color, with the green bottom, or a light blue bottom with the yellow, a royal blue with the green, and on and on. I guess some other kind of fun Grateful Dead connections that you got there, but as well there is I guess there's as well like actual steal your face lightning bolts on the lace tip. Okay, the plastic tip of your lace has a lightning bolt with the red and blue sides as well. There is a stash pocket in the tongue. I guess I should point out as well that your a zipper, your tongue has a secret zipper in which you can hide a couple grams and a few doses without a problem, I'd say. However, I got a feeling the security guards are going to be hip to the inner pocket in your Grateful Dead shoes. So always a risk you run when putting all of your eggs into the shoe gimmick, because then you got no way to back out if they actually search you. So use discretion there. However, the stash pocket, more of a fun gimmick than anything else, I'd say. So I guess that kind of really describes the shoe itself. Mixed reviews on style, on appeal to some different tastes, I'd say. As thumbs down from my man Cena, however, thumbs up from my sneakerhead Yoon. So take it for what it's worth. However, that is, I guess, the actual shoe. Like I mentioned, however, the orange being the sickest release, and I guess, like I mentioned, the SB Dunks in general kind of specializing and really kind of being more known for, limited release, limited stock kind of situations. Okay, the orange SB Dunks literally available at one Bay Area skate shop, and that's that. And then the green and yellow SB Dunks exclusively available at like a handful of skate shops around the Bay Area, Los Angeles. I think there was one in New York. However, this was all, New York and I guess California too, for the most part, is still on like quarantine, so I'm not waiting outside on a line at a skate shop, to probably not get a pair of Grateful Dead shoes in the middle of a pandemic. So instead, I opted for the online lottery, which did release, and this is through like officially coordinating through the Grateful Dead, Dead.net sponsoring a online lottery, as well as one of the sneaker websites. I struck out on both online lotteries, as well as I overslept one. I'm going to be honest. Right? I had to lie to Yoon and tell him that I woke up in time, even though I really didn't. So, you snooze, you lose on these goddamn fucking 10 a.m. Online release dates, online lottery sales. Okay, so I strike out on the SB Dunks. Wah, wah, wah. However, you have your chance to buy them in resale. However, don't cheapskate, because right now if you Google SB Dunks, you will see all sorts of price range from upwards of like $4,000, but at the very least, $1,200 to one website which very conveniently offers $75 SB Low Talk Dunks in orange, yellow, green, and blue and pink. Just so you know that the website's full of shit and they're selling fakes. But I guess fake sneakers has become, as real sneakers have become a very boutique, exotic thing. The fake sneaker market has really went wild. So all sorts of fake SB Dunks out there, online sales. However, the whole gimmick with the SB Dunks, just like if you want to get a pair of Cheech and Chongs or a Chunky Dunkies, all right, they only released, there was literally, I think, less than 1,000 total pairs released, okay, and one of them available in just one San Francisco skate shop, okay, and the orange definitely going to be the most valuable and going for selling for the most on resale, and I guess there are probably, probably some obvious glaring, well, once you see the shoes in your hands, you'll probably be able to tell the fakes from the reals, but there are, of course, you got to be careful, but this is not the kind of sneaker where if you think you're scoring a deal and getting $110 pair of which is the face price, by the way. Face value $110. But if you think you're buying an internet resale of a pair of orange SB Low Top Grateful Dead editions for $110, or if you think you're buying a pair of pink or blue SB Dunks, they are total fake, totally fake. However, much like a bootleg recording from a home audio device you snuck into the Fillmore in 1968, there might be an extra level of acceptance for at least buying and for at least wearing a bootlegged, fake pair of SB Dunks, at least compared to the alternative of spending $1,100 to floss like Kanye. However, I guess those being the story of the SB Dunks and the hottest sneaker on the market in 2020.
WEFUNK. We funk.